Why is it so difficult to make reliable commitments, both to your customers and to shareholders when you're managing manufacturing or production operations? And why is it so difficult and so easy to get it wrong when you're trying to meet that plan? If you have to decide what the product or service mix are that you're going to offer, or how do you allocate resources? My name is Dr. Alan Barnard. I'm CEO and co-founder of Goldratt Research Labs. And I'm super excited to announce to you a very simple but very powerful tool to, first of all, help us understand why it's so easy to make mistakes, and secondly, try out different options to see what's the best option. I want to take you back 33 years, 1993. I had recently graduated from industrial engineering. I'd read the goal. I was super excited to implement theory of constraints in my manufacturing facility that I was managing. It was one of the largest cookware companies in Africa, and immediately got overwhelmed. So many customers, so many products, so many machines. It felt like there were bottlenecks everywhere. And I couldn't wait to attend a program that was being offered through the National Productivity Institute, where Dr. Goldratt came and taught us theory of constraints. And I'll never forget that. We were all excited. We walked into this room. There were desks with computers on them. We were kind of interested, why computers? But we sat down, and Dr. Goldratt started off with a simple question. He said, what is the goal of manufacturing or production? I remember putting up my hand. I said, it's very simple. We should meet the demand within the lead times that customers expect, to the quality that they expect, to do it as cost effective as possible. And he said, absolutely. Are you doing that? We're frequently failing on one or more of those fronts. And he said, why is that? What makes it so hard to make reliable commitments and to make better decisions in terms of product mix or allocation of resources? And everybody put up their hand, and he patiently wrote down all the reasons. And you can imagine the list. Customers change their mind. We can't accurately forecast what customers will demand. Suppliers are often late. Machines break down. There's variability in cycle time durations. People are unreliable, etc. And he said, look, I can't wave a magic wand to solve all those problems, but I get it. Been in manufacturing before. What I can do, though, is ask you this question. If I could have a magic wand and all of those reasons disappear, would it be easy to manage manufacturing and production? And everybody said, oh my God, so easy. He said, well, switch on your computers. And what we saw when we switched off on our computers is something that looked like this. Looked like a little factory simulator. And he explained to us that what we're looking at is a product flow diagram. It's got the finished products at the top. So product A and D is at the top. It's got the raw materials at the bottom. And then the steps that's required on the routing to convert the raw materials into a finished product. And he said, yeah, your dream has come true. Customers tell you exactly what they need every week. So they need 100 of A and they need 50 of D. You know exactly your selling price. You know the cycle times. So a free operation takes 15 minutes, never varies. You know exactly the raw materials that you need and how much you pay for purchasing those raw materials. So $5, $20, and $20. So that's $45 is needed to make all the parts that's required to be assembled into a product A. So you have everything that you need, no variability, fully deterministic. All that we need you to do is to decide what the commitment is that you're going to make to your customers. Are you going to commit to make all 100 of A and all 50 of D? Then to do the calculations and translate that commitment into financial commitment to your shareholders, and then go and deliver on the plan. Sounds simple? And he said, here's how the simulation works, is that you're going to do some setup after you've considered all the factors. And once you're ready to go, you set up for the next week. You're going to purchase some products that will tell you how much you need to purchase, 100 there. So let's go for the 100. And it hasn't purchased. You can see there it's zero. Why? Because I ran out of cash. You also see what your starting cash is, $3,000. You can see what's the most I can purchase within cash, 20. Yeah, I can do 20. And the way that you allocate resources is you just assign the resources by dropping and dragging the resource onto the task that you want to start with. And then he said, great, ready to go. So you had to make a commitment. And if we made a commitment of producing all 100 of A and all 50 of D, you could theoretically make $1,500 here. And some people immediately started. They made a commitment, shouted out $1,500, 100 of A, 50 of D, and I went ahead and I did it. And then they lost money. Others, myself included, was a bit more cautious. We said, listen, we're here for theory of constraints conference. We should really consider the constraints. We're considering the demand constraint. We're considering the cash constraint, which is about $3,000. And we have to consider also the capacity constraint. So we had to do the calculations, but in the software, I did it for you. And you can see here, to make 1 unit of A requires 15 minutes on blue. And you can see that from this. There's the 15 minutes of blue B1 that's required to make 1 of A. And when you do all the calculations, so you take the 15 multiplied by 100, that's 1500 minutes. You add it all up for A and D. That's 2000 minutes of demand. You have 1 blue machine for 60 minutes an hour, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's 2,400 minutes. So that one is good. You're only 83% utilized. But you can notice here you have a bottleneck. The red machine is a bottleneck. So if you committed to do all 100 of A and all 50 of D, you would have been unreliable. The question is, would you have lost money? We don't know. We have to check. So how do I decide which product mix to produce? Well, I have to go back to finance and say, according to traditional cost accounting, there's a couple of ways. I can go for the highest selling price. D has got the highest selling price, 100 versus 90. And go for the lowest variable cost, 40 versus 45. I can go for the highest throughput or gross margin, 60 versus 45. All of those will get me to pick D. And even D has the lowest labor time, 50 minutes versus 60 minutes. So all of that tells me, do all D and then with the remaining capacity A. And you can, of course, we had to do all the calculations manually. I've made it very easy for you. You can just keep on reducing this until you hit a number that's green. There we go. You can do 50 of D and 60 of A. And unfortunately, some of us went ahead and tried to do this and lost money because we didn't check the finances. We overcommitted. We never changed that $1,500 commitment. If we had gone back to the finances, we would have seen if we could only do 60 of A, we're going to lose $300. Now, when you're simulating, you'll lose a bit more money. So we ended up, I think, losing $420. And then we started scratching our head. Dr. Goldratt asked us, do you think it's possible to make money in this factory? And the consensus was no. We're already picking the one with the highest selling price, lowest variable cost, highest throughput, and lowest labor cost, and still we can't make money. And then he said, sometimes following the traditional rules is the main cause of unreliable commitments and misallocating resources. He said, why don't you just try the opposite? So go back. What if you made all 100 of A? And then with the remaining capacity, you make as much D as you can. Let's see where we get to the 100% utilization. At 130. It says, okay, go and check the finances. Wow, I can make $300. That's amazing, following a non-traditional rule. Now, once you get into it, you can actually run the simulation in automatic mode. So you can select, I want to run the TOC rules. And in this case, what I'm prioritizing is none of those factors. I'm actually prioritizing the throughput per constraint minute. A generates $45 of throughput, but it only requires 15 minutes on the bottleneck. It gives $3 a minute, compared to D, gets $60 throughput, but requires 30 minutes on the bottleneck, so only $2. So we suspect that if we ran with TOC rules, we might not get all 300, but we will get close to it. So let's run the simulation for the whole period and see what happens. And you can see here how we are producing the finished goods. And as soon as we've got 100, we'll switch over to the other side. There's a lot of stats in here. We've got Gantt charts of showing the resource, showing the product Gantt, even showing operational effectiveness. There's KPIs that you can look at. So we've included all the stats. Basically, I've rebuilt these old simulators, both the production and the project one. And this announcement is really just announcing you that these simulators are now available for you to go and play. We've got a very special launch price of only $37 to start off with for an annual subscription, or $79 for lifetime. We can see we're getting close here to the end. We're on day 5 at the end, and that's it. We've made $240. So slightly less than the 300 that we were planning, but close enough that we got the bonus and the prize here. This is what I wanted to announce to you, is that with the simulation model, you are going to get access to all the old scenarios. So plant 10, for example, look like that, all the way to very complex ones that are V plants and A plants that look like this. So, and I've added the capability for you to build your own scenarios. Has some limitations, but you can actually build quite complex scenarios, specifying exactly how many machines you have for each side, etc. They all work in the same. You can run it in manual mode or automatic mode. So I'm really looking forward to your feedback. I'm super, super excited to launch this today. And I'll share the links in the comments. It's just GSim-production.com. We also have one for projects that I'm going to be announcing later this week, and that will be GSim-projects.com. Work on exactly the same way, where you can create different project plans, see what do we need to consider to make reliable commitments, and then how do we allocate resources to meet those commitments. I look forward to getting your feedback. I'm Dr. Alan Barnard. If you like this, please subscribe and follow to my channels.